I think I'm disappointed in the treatment given to my father, but that is not the reason I would like to specify that I've joined the Congress. The reasons are much more fundamental.
We have with us Mr. Manish Khanduri, son of former Uttarakhand Chief Minister BC Khanduri. He's been the head of news partnerships with Facebook India, and now he's decided to fight the Lok Sabha elections, but with the Congress ticket. So first and the most obvious question, sir, why the decision to enter politics and with Congress?
I think the way to answer that question is basically to split it into two pieces. I think that there is a huge challenge before the country. There are a lot of divisive forces at work. I think there's a lot of things that are going wrong. I think that first of all, there is a decline in civil discourse. I think that there's a direction that this country is marching in is not the right one. I think that we are moving towards a place and a time where it looks as if there is a loss or a decline of liberties. And I think it's up to anyone or everyone really who feels that they should to join the political process and make their contribution. And the second piece of it is why the Congress. I think because today, the Congress party represents everything that I stand for. And in terms of how I'm thinking about it, it's basically equity. It's about religious freedoms. It's about economic reform, but with a human face. And it's also about moving the country in a direction where we can take almost everyone forward in a positive and a constructive way.
Right. You're talking about a phone call with Ganesh Gondyal which convinced you to join Congress. Can you tell us more about it?
Not really. I think it wasn't really. We had multiple conversations. Ganesh Gondyal ji is somebody who's very respected in this area, and that's all I'll leave it at. And I think that he's played a major role.
So, in your previous interviews, you've said that you've been disappointed by the BJP's treatment towards your father, and that's also a reason why you've joined the Congress. So, I want to know more about that, and also the fact that why did your father then not defect to Congress?
Look, I think there are two questions, right? I think I'm disappointed in the treatment given to my father, but that is not the reason I would like to specify that I've joined the Congress. The reasons are much more fundamental. That's the first. Second is I've not joined the Congress for an election or a ticket. I have joined this looking at 15 or 20 years or maybe 30 years, whatever, more. It's a more long-term thing. It's basis my beliefs. That's the first thing that I'd like to say. Now, I'm sorry, you said why would my father not join?
Why would your father not defect?
Why would he? I think a lot of people don't understand who that man is. That man has spent his entire life in one party. I don't expect him to defect.
But would he campaign for you?
Look, here's how I'll answer that. I've had a lot of discussions with him. I've had his permission. I've had his blessings, if you can call it that, to do what I'm doing. And I have those every single day.
I've been traveling across Pauri-Garhwal for the past 2-3 days, and the main problems that I've been noticing that people have been telling me is unemployment, because of which there has been a mass migration from the hills, and also the fact that the highway, the all-weather project that was promised, has not been fulfilled, even in the Char Dham region. So, what are you going to do? How are you going to solve these problems if you're elected? I think,
so let me introduce you to Ganesh Gondyal ji, who's also traveling. He's an ex-MLA from Srinagar, and he's a very well-known, very well-recognized politician of the area and indeed the state. If I take a look at just Ganesh Gondyal ji's area, right? So this is Srinagar, the Srinagar area. Right. I think what you see is these are very fundamental and deep problems across all of Uttarakhand. It's not just migration. Migration is a simple way of explaining why people are moving out of the state. What's more specific is that there's a migration of institutions, there is a migration of agriculture, there's a migration of education, there's a migration of health, if I can call it that, and that is a systematic institutional migration. Now, what do I mean by that? By that I mean that your agriculture is in decline, you don't have any relevant and appropriate industries. Whatever industries were set up are almost closed because they're not relevant to the area. Your healthcare systems are in a mess, and on top of that, this current government, which is supposed to be a double engine ki sarkar with the state and the center, they have almost totally destroyed institutions like the Srinagar Medical College and NIT, which is fundamental to the growth in this area, but it's gone. So I think there are a lot of challenges and there's no simple answer, and if I were to tell you that one person could solve this problem, it's almost impossible. That would be a lie. This is an institutional response that we need to make across parties for a longer period of time, and here's my idea. You need to take a look at this entire value chain, if I may call it that, right? You need to start from agriculture and you need to go all the way right to the end, right, for economic reform. So my opinion is that there's a huge base of ex-servicemen who could possibly be leveraged in terms of a start. Now, what do I mean by that? Agriculture is in a decline here because they have very small sort of plots. First thing is aggregation of those plots, what's been called chakpatti. Once you do that, and once you start farming on a large scale, you should be focusing not just on organic farming, that's popular, but then it's under assault by animals. So what you do is you farm crops that are resistant, for example aloe vera or lemongrass. Right. You use them and then what happens is these are short cycles. You can have, through one seed you can have multiple crops. These require a lot less water, incidentally, because these fields haven't been tilled for a long time. They become hard, so there's a lot of water runoff. You do that. Basis that, alongside those, you create a network of small scale industries. I'm saying small scale because those are agri based, and then you get into marketing of this product. So it's an entire sort of value chain start to end.
I'm sorry, just to cut you off. The youth, a lot of youth do not want to go and get into farming. So what are the other job opportunities for them or employment opportunities for them that you could create here? So
here's the thing, right? I mean, so let me just back up a little. Yeah. When I said the basis of farming, I'm saying there's a strong community of ex-servicemen here. So they're in the 30s and 40s who would love to do this, right? Who would probably jump at the opportunity. Now, to ask the specific question of youth, I think it's a tragedy that the education systems are not developed, and whatever education there is doesn't qualify them for the really good jobs, therefore they migrate. Now, there's no simple answer again. I think what I would want to do is to leverage the sort of the experiences that I've had in India and abroad in media and in IT, specifically in IT, to experiment and see whether we can sort of, what is the next thing we can do in terms of bringing companies here, IT here. Now, I would also add that they tried to do this in Dehradun and that failed. They've tried to do that in Dehradun IT Park. There are multiple reasons for it, but IT is one. Also, creating a network of jobs around these small-scale industries, right? I think that is the second thing that we must do. And again, it's a long-term solution.
So you'll be fighting against your father's political disciple Tirath Singh Rawat, and in a constituency which Pauri-Garhwal constituency has been a BJP stronghold for the past couple of years. So apart from your father's surname, what is your record of public service that should convince a voter to come out and vote for you?
Okay, so I'll answer that in two ways, right? I think I've been coming here since 78. I recall coming here since 78 because I was pretty young then. I have been in one way or the other involved in the political process since 91. I understand this state inside out because I've travelled this Garhwal constituency inside out because I've travelled everywhere. Ramnagar, be it Ramnagar, be it Narendranagar, be it Srinagar in Garhwal, be it Pauri. I know this place inside out. That's the first thing. Second is that I've been involved in terms of social work in this area since the 90s. So that was when we've been sort of, my family trust is very deeply invested in giving scholarships to children of the local area, and I'm heading that. I've also started an institution in 2005, which basically is basis my grandmother's name, and it's used to sort of support and fund and economically help people who require medical attention in Delhi, specifically in Safdarjung name. So we do that. Now, I think, let me just flip the question around the other way. I think that it's people, not just like me, but people with different diverse set of experiences who need to get into the political process. Because what we are seeing is essentially very standard vanilla responses to very deep held problems, right? And that I fear, there's a lot of people who've come in with the new ideas. Godeyalji, for example, came from a business background when he came here from 15 years ago. So I think what we bring to the table is a new energy, fresh ideas, and looking at things, and new execution, because you need to, this is no longer a socialist Raj anymore. You need need to be engaged with the private sector. You need to be able to figure out how to get investments. You need to have a thought process which doesn't necessarily leave at just a stage of investment. Oh, let's put a big industry there. Why should you put it? What's the relevance? What's the value add? What's the long-term vision? I think that's what I bring to the table.